Stop that. R8RBEAR! Woo! Let's go! It's your boy, Assaltante Oso, that bear you all know, out of hibernation to entertain Raider Nation. What? You heard me, and so did everyone else. What's up, Raider Nation? Do we have a lot to discuss? Yeah. Are there a lot of new possibilities still out there? Yeah. Do I have good news? Holy smokes! Often imitated, never duplicated. That fool with no hair, that shouts like Ric Flair. Woo! The Raider It don't wash off, okay? Can't hide it. Everywhere I go. I've had so many people in Arizona giving me the business. Is that a Raider logo on your hand? Yeah, it is. And if you don't like the Raiders, that's cool. Who's your team? Because I don't see any allegiance on your body. But everybody can see mine. Woo! All day, every day, twice on Sundays. Sucker. Yes, I still use sucker. What's up, fam? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all tuning in with me, your host, R8RBEAR Live. And, Tradish! R8RBEAR Live. First comment. Woo, MVP tonight on YouTube goes to clawing his way up to the front of the line tonight, John the Lion Leon. Always dropping L's but never taking losses. Our gold medalist tonight, John the Lion Leon. What's up, John? Welcome to the show. Hello, Mama Bear. Told you about interrupting me when I'm out here doing Raider Nation stuff. Doggone it. Behave yourself. I was touching her. I was speaking to myself. I have to behave myself. No, thank you, Mama.
You're welcome. Come on, boys.
Look how she put foam, and she put the little, special barista on the top. And yes, I noticed it's shaped like a heart. You don't have to try so hard, honey. If you want some tonight, you can just tell me. Okay. I'll say anything if it's funny. I will. I'm not afraid of you. None of y'all. So what's up, everybody? Welcome to the show. Appreciate you all. And now, silver medalist, our normal heavyweight champion of the world, Mark Vargas, that emoji-making son of a gun. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Mr. Two-time, champion right now. Third place, my bronze medal goes to S.A. Big Dog. What's up, D? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR. And probably one of my new favorite, introductions. What's up, S.A. Big Root Dog? And honorable mention to David Pell. Wait a minute, where is it? Oh. Look, David, I got the good one. David Pell Kalila. That's what I'd go with, but with this end forward. There. All right, DVC, gotta be sure. Don't want to just cut them, you gotta cause a leak. All right, here we go. Where's my Facebook peoples? What's up, Facebook peoples? Oh, look at this. First place, my gold medal, numero uno el jefe, Carlos Boykins. What's What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Always there for R8RBEAR, our gold medalist tonight, becoming something of a normal thing. I know I say that a lot, but you really are. Second place, silver medal. A little bit of an upset tonight. Carlos Magana Jr. What's up, Carlos? Welcome to the show. What are you doing getting into the way of the gentleman's rivalry that goes on yet again tonight between you, Carlos, and our third place contestant, Leki Pace? You see, you just got in the way of that, Carlos. You know, what are you doing, man? Honorable mention to Herman Gonzalez Jr. and Mike Henderson. What's up, guys? Welcome to the show. Okay, now I want all of you to notice, for people who try to hate on me, I've been on now for 4 minutes. It took me 4 minutes to do that whole thing. You see what I mean? I had people going, "Oh, you go on for 20 minutes laughing and shouting." It's 4 minutes, and that was with me doing all my whole thing. I don't know how this became my whole thing, but there you go. All right, Chris Strong, what's up? Welcome to the show. Carlos Magana Jr. said, "Yo, bro, that's a fresh hat. What's up with the info on it?" You know, Carlos, if I tell everyone how to get what I got, then you have what I got, and then it ain't special anymore. So, you know, no, I don't do that. I don't. If I don't post it for you tonight, I'll post it for you tomorrow. I'm just kidding. Let me see here. Larry Brooks Jr., what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Mark Vargas asks Tyreek Hill to the Raiders. I don't know if I like that. I mean, I like it. Don't get me wrong. If we can pull that out, that's cool and everything. But I'm concerned that what it would cost. I don't want to, lose an opportunity somewhere else. We still have to do something at running back. I would rather they did something cohesive that works at running back, and then if Tyreek Hill is still there and we can fit him in under the blankets, then cool. Tuck him into bed and let's go win some games. Ellis Irving, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Raiders C-Dub said, "Let's go, Raiders!" What's up, C-Dub? Welcome to the show. I'll just put up his comment right there. Jerry Kester said, "Sup, Bear, your sound is getting so modulated, it's starting to sound like a 70s trucker movie. CB Radio Breaker 19. You got your ears on there, good buddy." Even though I feel like he was kind of ripping me, I had to finish reading it. I mean, it was a pretty good rip. I can take it. I'm a big boy. Jeremy McCary, what's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Put foots in him all day long, Carlos Boykins. Arnie Garza, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Bear, who is your favorite signing? Who is your most disappointing signing? My favorite signing, I can tell you, I can say it quickly, even with everything we've done so far, and I include like re-signings and things like that. I think Jeremy Chin, as I like to now refer to him as Jeremy Chin Checker. But I think Jeremy Chin is huge. If you go and you look at his video, it's just like any other defensive player. You see, if I said any other DB, go look and see what you see. It would look just like it. The only difference is what stands out is how Jeremy Chin finishes. He finishes every time. It's like having a defensive safety or defensive back that thinks like Marshawn Lynch. That at every moment when you're making moves or trying to get ready to tackle a guy, you prepare yourself for that moment of impact so that you always hit him harder than he hits you. You've got to make that a commitment on every play. When you're an all-pro safety or an all-pro running back like Marshawn Lynch, which, by the way, I love the fact that he thought like that, you know what I mean? Because he would say that in interviews. That puts a tremendous amount of pressure on him to perform, and he didn't care. He said it. Said it without blinking an eye. Usually said it cussing, nonchalantly. I mean, the guy was just so chill, confident in himself that, he just did it. And I think Jeremy Chin is going to do the same thing. I think really quietly, we're all going to really like this guy. But you remember how Ronnie Lott was. Ronnie Lott never at any point in his career got up and pounded his chest or looked at the crowd and went, and I was like, he was a warrior. Every time he just got in there, slammed a guy, and then he'd get up, go to his teammates and say, yeah, headbutt, let's go. And that's it in this next play. You know what I mean? Don't live for plays, live for wins. I keep hearing Mason Graham is the Max Crosby of defensive tackles. Raider Devillion, welcome to the show. I got to tell you, obviously, when we do these draft conversations, I have to throw a few different names out there because the people watching my show want to hear about what if we were to make a move for Abdul Carter. What if we pick up Ashton Ginty from Boise? What if we do this? What if we do that? I have to kind of be prepared every time you guys do that. Unlike any other host, the Raider Bear. All right. Just a little celebration. Bear. Okay. I'm done. I swear I'm done. Bear. Okay. But seriously, Mason Graham to me is one of those picks. If you make it, we're good. Think about how you feel about our tight end now. Okay? Think about how you feel about him now and how you felt about him when we picked him. When we picked him, a lot of Raider fans booed. A lot of Raider fans that didn't boo didn't understand, why are we going for a tight end? And then Brock Bowers went out there and showed you. Now, had we had a magic ball, we could have seen that. We would have all went crazy clapping for the pick, knowing, wow, he's going to do this for us, break all these rookie records, show incredible hands and touch, great, get in and get out of his stop and goes in routes like a wide receiver. I think that we can do something like him again. And I think that Mason Graham or Ashton Ginty could be the guy. I don't like the Travis Hunter stuff. I don't feel it. I don't feel it, guys. What you have to remember, part of scouting players and whether you think they'll work for you or not involves whether or not you just think they really are the guy. Beyond with how he hits or beyond how he does spin moves or makes a catch and celebrate. All these things. No, beyond all of that. Okay, what is his character like? Does he get hurt a lot, or is he the kind of guy that, is pretty iron-willed, but in his mind he's kind of soft, or vice versa? You know what I mean? There's always guys like that. It doesn't matter what position it is, but the position of bust with the highest grade of probability is quarterback, wide receiver, running back, or you could say running back, wide receiver. They're kind of interchangeable. You get bust potential level with wide receivers just like you do with running backs and vice versa. And then quarterbacks is undisputed number one because you always have to pay the most money. You spend the highest pick. You get the guy, and then he doesn't work out. We can already all see that guy Levy that went to the Titans. He's not going to pan out. He's not going to pan out. And don't get me wrong, my show's not about the Titans. I'm just giving you an example. We just saw his rookie year, and his own coach was running out in the field and looking at him and going, I swear to God, I've never seen a coach do this. He's holding the side of his head and he goes, "What are you doing?" You know what I mean? He literally went, and he cussed too, but I don't have to add that, but you know what he said. But he said, "What the are you doing?" And he was holding the side of his head. I've never seen a coach do that. Not walk out and full on walk out onto the field and dress down his quarterback in front of millions of people on a Sunday. I've never seen that. I've never seen that. And I realize the coach is not a really deep coach. He just got there, replacing Mike Vrabel. But, it just... it's bad. He's probably gone. Raider C-Dub. Greater. Jerry Kester, what's up? Your sound is getting modulated. I agree that was funny. Keep going. Sorry, my little questions thing didn't roll. I keep hearing... Yeah, honestly, the Mason Graham thing to me is real. I would love that. I'm a realist football player. See, if there's a choice between Ashton Ginty or Mason Graham, I go Mason Graham all day without even blinking, which I did not do. I'm serious. As good as Ginty will be, and I think he will be really good, I would rather have the higher potential of success in a powerhouse defensive tackle that can anchor my line, give it more depth, because we've already re-signed Adam Butler. We already have John Jenkins. We're already bringing this kid in. If we brought him in, that would be 3 guys at defensive, not to mention the other ones we have, and Wilson, who can rotate over from defensive end, and so on and so forth. So that would create a massive, amount of depth. You'd be able to switch guys in and out more often, keep them fresh, to where a quarterback and the running back is always dealing with a guy who's got his air. You know what I mean? I think that actually matters a lot more than people realize. What's up, Breeder? What's up, Jesse Parker? Good to see you, brother. Jeremy, we're doing really good. That's why I'm in a good mood. My wife's doing good. I'm doing good. Everything's going well. Bear, who's your worst case scenario at the 6th pick? Who is the best case scenario? Okay, worst case scenario to me would be picking a quarterback. because you've already established Geno Smith. You have AOC at the number 2 position. Now you can just clear the deck behind them. Sorry Carson Bradley, but you're probably gone. And whoever else they may have had waiting in the wings, you're probably gone. And then they'll bring in whoever that is. And whoever the quarterback is, it doesn't matter what round it is, it's a mistake to me. You can have a developmental program guy, bring him in the 5th or 6th round, that kind of thing. But I just think it's a waste of a seat on the team when you've already got 2 really capable quarterbacks. And you can just get a 3rd for chump money off free agency. Why would you want to give a draft pick that and have to pay a draft pick to sit there and take a roster spot, while he learns nothing? Because, they all know how to play football. Either he's going to learn the offense or he won't. Vernon Moshman, assuming we go running back, who would you say was better coming out of college, Jacobs or Genty? Honestly, I say that's a hard one to go on, because in your mind, when you mention Jacobs, you're thinking about the things you've seen Jacobs do. You have to go back to what you knew of Jacobs before we drafted him. What did we know of him? He was in a 3-back offense, where oftentimes he was the 2nd and often the 3rd guy on the list of running backs there that were being featured by the team. And then, he got a handful of plays. He looked pretty good. He went into the draft, and we picked him up. I thought it was a little bit lucky on his part. He didn't exactly blow the scouts away. So Jacobs was a phenom in the sense of not only did he turn out to be good, it didn't look like he was going to be that kind of guy coming into the league. We just all hoped he'd be good, but no one saw that good. He's on a Hall of Fame pace right now. Guys, his first 2 years in the league, Josh Jacobs had more combined better numbers than Bo Jackson and Marcus Allen. Bo Jackson and Marcus Allen. Listen to what I'm saying. Those guys are gods in football shoes. And he was ahead of their pace after 2 years. So you're asking me kind of a loaded question. Would it be Jacobs or Genty? Knowing what I know now, it would be Jacobs. But going on what I knew then, it would be Genty. He's obviously a starter far and away, where Jacobs was not. He's the number 1 guy out of Boise State and the number 1 guy picked by the scouts. And by the way, had Jacobs been in this draft, again, with us only knowing what we knew before, he would have gone way after Genty. Way after Genty, because this happens to be also a deep running back class. So, I'm not going to insult Jacobs and say, oh, he would have went in the 5th round or something like that, but, he wouldn't have come before Genty. No way. And I'm not even wrapped up about that. I'm just telling you that the Raiders are really torn. It's going back and forth right now. That I can tell you as a reporter right now for sure. Okay, you get a lot of speculation from all these other shows. And me, I have to speculate sometimes too. I'm giving you ironclad news right now, okay? The Raiders and Pete Carroll in particular want Ashton Genty. He really does. He's literally not hiding it. He said it in front of press guys. He just waits until cameras aren't on and, they're not necessarily recording him. You know what I mean? But it's been discussed by press that say he's not really being shy about it. He wants Ashton Genty, and he feels like what's in front of him in this NFL draft, there isn't anyone that's going to be in front of him that's going to be willing to take that risk. Not at a running back. So he feels like Genty's just going to be sitting there on a platter when we get to 6. And I think he's right. And having said that, I don't know if that's the play. I really just don't know if that's the play. I can't go back against what we all know, and I was explaining a moment ago, running backs have incredibly high bust potential. And you can't get a 6th pick in the middle of a rebuild with a new coach and a new GM and miss. You can't miss here. Now, see, I'm adding a little bit more pressure because I know some of you haven't thought about this either, but remember, we just got this coach. We just got this GM. The ownership is flipping the doors. You got the 6th pick. You don't just have a top 10 pick. You have a pretty good one. You know what I mean? Plus compensatory picks in the 6th. You got to nail this. Like Max Crosby level nail this. Like how we got Max in the 4th. You got to get lucky and get some of that, magic milk happening so it comes over here and we put foots in them. No, I will not explain what magic milk is. Bear, you see where 3 dudes broke into Richard Sherman's home and held his wife and kids at gunpoint and robbed his house. Crazy world, huh, bro? Yeah, it is. And I got to tell you, guys like this that have money that are really out in the spotlight, and I'll be honest with you, I'm not in the spotlight anywhere near obviously where that guy is. Okay, I'm not Stephen A. Smith and trying to blow myself up. You know what I mean? I'm just simply saying that when you start to do the kind of things that we do where you're in the public eye and you're giving strong opinions about things that people are passionate about, and then you make money, bad people see that. You know, not everybody in the world is nice. You know what I mean? And sooner or later, someone bad thinks, I can take that guy's stuff. You know what I mean? And so you don't really want them to know where you live. And so although I have let a few people know where I live, I haven't let too many people know where I live. You know, what town I'm in, you know, yeah, sure. You know, what state, you know, okay, no big deal, but not my address. You know what I mean? So I just feel like guys like that, once you have a problem like that, even once, you got to go deep. You got to find a place. You know what I mean? You got to keep it quiet. You got to put the name or the house in the name of your mother, you know, something like that, and just get the deed done and get in the house. And then that just make it that much more level of difficulty for these guys, because they just go on the internet and search famous people's homes, and, you know, they're screwed because half the time they leave the house, you know, everyone thinks they have security and big dogs or something. Most of them just shut the doors and turn on their normal ADT system, you know, and you can beat those real easy. Let's see here. Bear, I told the Bowers pick was generational. When I called it on your draft show, I knew he is him. Travis Kelly, you did call that. I had a couple other friends, too, that also agreed that was going to end up being a big pick. I had seen him. I knew he was talented. I just didn't think he was going to be that good. That I'll admit freely. I didn't think he was going to be that good. I had a feeling he'd be good. But I thought he was going to be good like how Darren Warren was. You know what I mean? Just, you know, catches a few balls here and there. Looks like an all-star. You know, puts up some decent numbers. But you know, Bowers has shown talents that go beyond either position. He's better than a tight end, and in a lot of circles, he would be your best wide receiver. You know what I mean? We have this habit of thinking of a skinny guy that's running a 4.4 whatever. No, not every wide receiver has to have blazing speed. You know, we had wide receivers for decades that could only run in the, you know, 4.4s, 4.6, 4.7, 4.48. You know, stuff like that. Not blazing speed, just fast. You know what I mean? And they got along pretty well and had great careers. John Leon says no on Mason Graham. Trade back. I don't know that you should trade back. I just could understand where you wouldn't want Graham. And most people don't think that's a dynamic enough pick to go at 6, and I get that. But to me, I don't always think that the high expensive pick has to be dynamic. Sometimes it could just be a guy that ends up being like a Tim Duncan. No one understands why you pick that guy. He's quiet. He's not explosive. He never smiles. He's very serious. You know, he's never like jumping up and down, pumping his fist. He doesn't get the crowd going. Charisma is 0, on and on and on. And then he brought you 5 championships to the San Antonio Spurs. You know what I mean? If he's a Tim Duncan, I'll take that. You know what I mean? I'll take the 6th pick. I'll pay that guy and let him bring championships through him shutting the run down and making big plays in the middle. All right, Tim. Good night, man. Let's see. Tyler Warden, the tight end from Penn State, 6'6", 260. We just brought in another tight end, though, Mark Vargas. I don't know if they're going to want to do another one, because now I think we do. I think we're back up to having 4. Do you see Tyree Wilson taking the next step this year? I don't think drive is the issue. Just a lack of moves. Does or can he develop the moves? Okay, Raider DeVillion, I did a big profile on him when we were talking about getting him. And then when I heard the talk getting, you know, louder and louder, I realized, and I told my audience, we're going to get Tyree Wilson. Okay, so then we did, and then I got to be honest with you, I was bummed. I was bummed. And I don't normally do that, but I did the same thing I did with Colton Miller. And remember, I was wrong with Colton Miller. That's why I brought it up. I want you guys to understand I'm fair. But with Tyree Wilson, I'm not wrong. He has no bend. He's not flexible. He's that guy that goes into a yoga class and can't get into any position, even the easy ones, because he's just too stiff. You know what I mean? Some guys that box, they box like that, where they just come forward, and try to block punches, and then they try to throw tree trunks at you. That's what he is. He reminds me of Hulk Smash, because there's no finesse. He just tries to bully guys. Now, the problem with that is everyone in the NFL is a bully. Everyone, especially offensive linemen. Some of them are the bulliest because they have the most crucial job. If your offensive line doesn't work, you don't win, period. Now, we've been born, and it's been burned in our brains, you have to have good quarterback play. a running game and a defense to win Super Bowls. Well, since we know that that's changed drastically, we've had a lot of teams going to Super Bowls not run the ball hardly at all and win with a passing game and a decent defense, and win with scores like 40-22. But that's not the NFL now, and Tyree Wilson, to me, is a bust. There's no doubt about it. I gave him 2 years because of his broken foot. So when he came in the first year, he had a broken foot. He had surgery, guys. So that's going to slow down any big man. If you screw up your feet, your career's over. Because when you're a big man, it affects you in ways that it doesn't with a guy that's smaller and thinner like myself. You lose a little bit of weight. You get in shape. You train in a pool. Then when you feel 100%, you probably aren't going to strain it again because you're on a lighter frame. With Tyree Wilson, you can't do that. He's just an enormous guy. You know what I mean? And you can't have him drop 20 pounds because then he really is going to fall off in his game because his whole game is based on power. So, no, he's not going to last. Bear, which QBs in the draft can beat out AOC as a backup on our team? I mean, without sounding like I'm ripping AOC, probably a lot of them could beat him. Probably a lot of them could beat him out. And I'm being honest. But what I'm also going to be honest about is that I think AOC has that thing that doesn't show up on stats, that shows up in a game by him not panicking, keeping his eyes down the field, and on certain plays where other guys would bring their head in and would scream and, hold the ball like Derek Carr and go down, he's going to keep looking for the play and get hurt if he has to complete it. I believe in AOC in that way. I watched him do it at Purdue. There were so many slow motion moments where they slowed the tape down and you would see AOC gritting his teeth and mud would be flying around in slow-mo and he would just sling it. And then you'd see him get slammed by someone big and strong. So all I'm saying is one day or another, AOC is going to be a winner. If it's with us, cool, but if it's not, I don't care where he goes. I'm telling you, he's going to be a winner. People didn't think Sam Darnold was going to do anything. And then they sent him to the Panthers, and he played pretty good. And then they sent him to the Niners, and he played pretty good. And then they sent him to the Vikings, and he played Hall of Fame good. And yes, I said Hall of Fame, and shut up for me saying it, because the truth is, yeah, he's been a bust, but when he stops playing like one, you can't keep calling him that. And the guy won, 11, 12 games in a row with Minnesota? That's not a fluke. That's not a fluke, man. 4 or 5 games, I can understand, but 11, 12, double digits? As long as Sam Darnold's been in the league, you got all kinds of tape on him with all these different teams, but he could come out on the field and just rip off that many wins. And everyone that lost their chance on Sam Darnold, except the Seattle Seahawks, because that's where he went, is going to pay now. I'm telling you. You got to know what, if you see it with your eyes, there it is. Do it. He was there. It was cheap. Could have got Sam Darnold. Screwed it up. I'm not talking about us. I'm fine with Geno Smith. But a lot of teams are going to regret that they didn't make that move when they had a chance. Any info on Geno's extension? What kind of contract do you think the Raiders should negotiate? Ramiro, I don't know that they're going to negotiate a deal with him until they see him play. They've already given him a 2-year deal with the whole extension, didn't do a third, potentially, blah, blah, blah. So when they do that, normally you play 1 season. Then at the beginning of season 2, if you want to show him respect, you redo the deal right then and there. If you're still not sure you don't do the deal, you let him play season 2, and then you just release him. Because remember, the guy's going to have family. You got to buy a new house every time you move. If they let him move again, it's just, players don't like that. Every time they land at a place, they hope that that's going to be the last one. Because you don't want to keep uplifting your kids and saying, oh, you can't go to school with your friends anymore. Well, they go to sleep crying and you're all upset. Hey, that's a reality, man. That would suck. Bear, if you had the first pick of the draft for the Raiders, who would you select? Amir Abdullah. No hesitation. It would be him or one of the other major defensive ends that are playing, because there's just defensive talent in this draft that, to me, if you're thinking along that line, you got to get wait a minute. Oh, right there. Okay, sorry. Like that, and then. Okay, sorry, I was bringing up my defensive line category stuff. To me, you got to go with, like first of all, someone said that Mason Graham's not really that big a deal. I don't remember exactly how you said it, and Mason Graham doesn't move the needle. I don't know if I agree with that. He is right behind Abdul Carter, and everyone likes Abdul Carter. Abdul Carter's overall rating, okay, from his position rank, this was done by NFLDraftBuzz.com. Okay, their number 1 ranked scouting report is on number 11, Abdul Carter. The number 2 guy is Mason Graham, guys. Number 3 is James Pierce Jr., which, by the way, I wouldn't mind James Pierce Jr. either. But either of those 3 guys, if we can get one of those 3 guys inside of 6, or, with this, not inside of 6, but with the 6th pick, hey, let's go. That's what I would do. To me, you can't teach big and powerful. You can't teach that. You can teach people how to do moves and positions and so on and so forth, but you can't teach size and speed. You have it or you don't. Raider Devilian, Bo was playing half seasons. By no means was I implying that Josh Jacobs is actually better than either of those 2 guys. I was simply stating that his stats were ahead of both those guys. Now, if those guys had known some guy in the future was going to do these kind of numbers, they probably would have pumped their numbers up even more, especially Marcus Allen. But I don't think he's necessarily better than either of those 2 guys, but he did put up the numbers. John Leon says trade back. I don't know if I agree with that because, John, you trade back when you want a lot of pieces to make a lot of picks. We've already brought in a lot of guys that are legit. You know what I mean? Elandon Roberts, Jeremy Chin. You know what I mean? These guys we brought in. Devin White now. Experienced, raw dog, just tough. Has anyone else noticed that? Almost every one of these guys we've brought in is like tough guys. Look at this. We brought in defensive tackle Leki Fotu. Okay, we brought in back defensive tackle Zach Carter. We brought in Darnay Holmes, one of the, he's a big defensive back. Okay, we signed Eric Stokes, also, a kind of big guy at defensive back. We signed safety Lonnie Johnson Jr. He's 6'3", 215 pounds. Do you see what he's doing? I know I said this already. Look, Jeremy Chin, Adam Butler, okay, listen to this, Isaiah Pulamau, Malcolm Kuntz, Max Crosby's new deal. We've brought in guys and I love what we've done so far. I didn't even talk about the offense. Ian Thomas, the new tight end we brought in, he has nice hands. He's really tall. He's got a basketball player's body. He blocks well, but he can slip out and catch those little quick passes and get out there and hurt people. Raheem Mostert, he was the best running back the Niners had. They let him go. He went to the Dolphins for 2 seasons. He had one of the best seasons for a Dolphin, and then the next season he got hurt and he didn't play too much. And then we got him. So I'd like to see what he has left. He likes to think, or I think he thinks he has a lot left. I'd like to see what that is. We got Geno Smith at quarterback, a guy who's super accurate. He was super accurate when he was playing. He's going to be accurate for us. Offensive guard, Alex Kappa. I mean, I can go on and on. We brought in wide receiver, Kyle Phillips. I think that there's a really solid chance that this bunch of bad news bears, and that's what this is starting to feel like, and I like it. I like it. Wouldn't you be like totally into it if someone said to you, John Leon, Jerry Kester, Tanamoku, Arnie Garza, Jesse Parker, okay, we need you guys to come together and do a job, okay, and you're all of you the best at what you do, and each one of you has a different skill, and I need you to show up on this day at this time, and none of you are going to know each other, but you're going to all know that you're all badasses. Okay, you think when Elandon Roberts meets Jeremy Chin, they're not going to look at each other and say, yeah, we're going to kill some people. With Devin White and Leki Fotu and those guys clearing the deck, the defensive line is gonna stand up. They're going to stand guys up. And so when those gaps are there, Devin White and Landon Roberts are going to just crush fools. And if that's the case, and then now they have to go to passing, and we can get Max free because Kuntz has a good season. Eric Stokes at our corner, Darnay Holmes, Jeremy Chin. Guys, I'm excited. And okay, now, for example, another question came up about Hunter Renfrow. Guys, you got to stop. I know we as Raider fans, we fall in love with guys, but why would we go backwards? It just doesn't make sense. Think of how good you feel with what we're doing. Was Robert Spillane a great player? Sure he was. But is he better than Landon Roberts? I don't know if I agree with that. I don't know if I agree with that. Just in the small sample size I've seen of Roberts in highlights, including against us, he was stuffing our run game. The guy can ball. You know what I mean? And then now you add to that Devin White, another guy who's a stickler, just a bar bouncer with Jeremy Chin and Eric Stokes. And we're going to be gnarly. I mean, we have a lot of bad dudes now. Solomana, Milo, what's up? Good to see you. Trade back and get another second and a draft pick for next year. John, I could see the logic in that. I love the roster we've put up. Now I would just like to get the best man available at every position of need that we may still have, or just a position where we want to gain depth. I would like to see us do that. At 6, best man available, or just like Brock Bowers. Yeah, Jerry, that's what I think. It was Sherman's birthday, too. Tanamoku, and everyone listening, pay attention to this next statement. Even if you're really rich, if you don't live your life right, you will still pay a price. And you will go through trauma. You will go through hard times. You will lose loved ones and friends. You will crash cars and have bills you probably wouldn't have gotten had you been in a better right of mind. Richard Sherman is kind of going through that, and I wish him well. I don't know the guy personally. He wasn't on any team that I ever cared about. He was a Seahawk. It was fun to watch them play. I know the whole Legion of Boom and all that, but long story short, you can't live like he was living, and there's a lot that goes on beyond this case. You know what I mean? He was going to exes' houses and banging on doors at 2 a.m. and just doing some crazy stuff. And I'm not trying to trash Richard Sherman, because everyone that knows him says he's a great guy to me and know and be his friend. So I just think he's bad with women. Tanamoku, Bowers was our best receiver, and we need to do something about that. Jacoby Meyer has been very nice, but we need to do something about that. And I don't think DK Metcalf was the answer. And I'm not saying that because we didn't get him. I'm saying it because I've always said it. Even when he was available in the draft, I said I did not want DK Metcalf. Same problem you had with Tyree Wilson. Too stiff. He's this super bodybuilder. If you've ever seen those bodybuilders that pose and they do all that stuff, he does that. He's been doing it for a long time. His dad has his own gym. He runs it as a business. And so DK Metcalf was lifting weights when he started walking. I'm serious. His whole family, they're all just chiseled like rocks. And so that's not conducive, though, to being a wide receiver. It gets you back pain, pulled hamstrings, which he's had both of, and so no thanks. Jesse Parker, I do remember Joe Juravicius. We have more needs than defensive tackle at 6. John, we do, but I do think we can fix those needs with 2. We had 3 threes. I know we used them in one of the deals we just did, so we have 2 or 1, I'm not sure, but we don't have 3 anymore, that's what I know for sure. And we had the 3 6s, but I think one of the 6s is gone too. I think we did something with that too in a deal. Hey, Bear, what do you think of Devin White? Does he fit in our defense? Solomon Milo, yes, he fits in our defense, but what we have to figure out is you know what? Look at Steven Shaw. Steven Shaw! I didn't do this because I almost, forget all the time, because I'm just doing this for the people. I love Raider Nations. This is why I do it. But I would really appreciate it if you would consider a subscription to R8RBEAR Family Page. It's just $5 a month, and you can cancel at any time. But you won't want to, because we do great things for charities all over the world, all the time. And then we usually produce our results and show you guys what we've done. And we do that also with stars given to the show. And oftentimes we auction off fun things so that when you bring in your stars, you're also getting something that nice back for it. So consider that. And if you're on YouTube and you haven't subscribed already, we're not on good speaking terms. Come on, man. It's YouTube. Come on. Move that little mousy mouse over there. Click. Little bell. Click subscribe. There you go. Love you guys. Sanders will be picked at 6. Mark, I'm not with the hype on the whole quarterback thing. I'm really not. I'm really not. I think that would be a big mistake. I really do. I'm not saying you're wrong. I have heard the same thing. I have heard that Tom Brady's kind of enamored with the kid. His relationship with Deion Sanders, he thinks it brings hype and energy to the Raiders. That means ticket sales. That means hype. And then you got Pete Carroll, who loves that, who loves the tension and the hype. And, he's going to leap up and down with the kid and high-five him, at 70, whatever he is. But I don't like it. Raider Paul agrees with me that AOC is the badass. What's up, Raider Paul? Welcome to the show. I know that's not what you meant, but I get it. Different people feel different ways about him. I get it. And I don't have any way to defend how he's played. You know what I mean? I just think he's a good kid, and I think he's going to be a winner. Oh, I got alerts coming up here. Hang on. Let me kill that because it's covering my screen. Some alert for the ladies basketball tournament. Oh, wow. Look at that. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, John Ross. I know you didn't know I was going to sing for you. You probably wouldn't have mentioned your birthday if you had known that. I'm not going to sing anymore. Happy birthday. I lied. To you. What's up, brother? Welcome to the show. Raiders! One time for John Ross. Happy birthday, brother. You look young. Happy birthday. Matthew Fagan. Sam Darnold played well because Minnesota's coaching knows how to coach quarterbacks. Sam has talent, no doubt, but he did basically nothing until he got to Minnesota. Well, Matthew Fagan, what he did before Minnesota to me now is irrelevant. You have to go, what have you done for me lately? Well, let's see, what has he done for them lately? Go nuts and win a bunch of games. And as much as you may be right, and I do agree that they do have sort of a quarterback guruing of coaching staff going on there, he still had to go out there and do it. And he did it. And as a result of that grooming, he's going to be a better quarterback as a result of that. And he's going to take those lessons with him to Seattle, and he's going to win. I would have been really interested to see what would have happened had we got someone else as a coach and Pete Carroll was still there and Pete Carroll got Darnold. That would have been deadly. Because whatever Pete Carroll is going to do with Chip Kelly, it's going to be gnarly. I have no doubt in my mind it's going to be innovative stuff. Scotty Lutz said, "Hey, R8RBEAR, my Florida Gator basketball team is on the Final Four. Do you have it?" Whoa. Oh, no. Look at you. Son! Hello? Oh, you can't hear me. Oh, hold on. Hello?
Hello?
Hey, what's up? I'm doing my show. Say hi to everybody.
Oh, hi, everybody.
No, not oh. What was that?
I didn't interrupt. I'll call Mom.
Okay, I'm almost done, and I'll get with you.
Okay.
Much love.
Love you too.
That's my guy. Okay, let me see here. No. Arnie Garza, Bear, what is the trust level so far in the depth chart? What position group needs the most improvement in the draft? Great question. I would say that the position group that you should pay the most attention to is the offensive line. Now, I like the move we made with Kappa, but I would like to support Kappa. If we all look at Kappa's resume, and I know some of you have, he's not exactly an all-pro that's just destroying the league. He was just good. He was very good, a very good starter when he was starting. Does he make mistakes? Sure, but he is a very capable guard. And so with this new contract and a new team and people whispering his name that he's close to being done, I think that he'll do what all Raiders that are in that situation have done in the past. He will rise up and give us a couple good years of great football, and maybe we win as a result. Tyler Warren, Penn State tight end, is the Max Crosby at tight end. That's what's been said, Bear. I don't think they want Bowers to have anyone behind him at that level. I think that's why we brought in, what was the kid's name? Ian Thomas, I think it was. Hold on. Yeah, that's why we brought in the tight end Ian Thomas. He spent spending the past 7 seasons, 2018, 2024, with the Carolina Panthers. And I'm looking at him. I was talking about this the other day. He has more of a basketball frame on him. I kind of like that because I think that Brock Bowers will be the best receiver. I think Brock Bowers is better than Ian Thomas, but I don't think the fact that Brock Bowers is better means that somehow that devalues Ian Thomas, because that guy's got he's long. I think he's like 6'5", 6'6", something like that. Again, basketball frame, really lucid limbers, probably going to be fairly fast. So I could see him still being a weapon regardless, just no threat to Bowers. So I don't know that they're really going to go with a high pick there. Joe Holman, what's up, man? Welcome to the show. Hey, I just checked the draft order, and according to the needs information, the only teams ahead of us that need a defensive end are the Titans and the Browns. But both of those teams also need a quarterback. So do you think they're any chance at all that Abdul Carter will fall to us? No. I just want to get that out. No matter which one of those scenarios. No. For example, if Abdul Carter gets past 1, 2, or 3, whoever's at 4 will scrap whatever plans they had, and they will take Abdul Carter. Just like we would do. If we had plans to do something at 4, they get scrapped if Abdul Carter's sitting there at 4. Wouldn't you agree? I know you would, Joe. Fellow Joe. And I'm not inviting you to the show anymore as a new viewer, because now you're my guy now, because you've been here for a minute now, so. AP, what's up, man? I haven't seen you in a minute. Hey, Bear, don't we still suck at LB? Devin White with an overall Pro Football Focus 57 grade. Well, no, Anthony Penn, if you go back and you look at the last 2 seasons with the Chicago Bears, Devin White wasn't playing really well for the team because he wasn't happy with what was going on with the team. He was asking for a bonus, he wasn't getting it, then he was going into the last year in his contract, still negotiating, still getting nothing. So now I have to guess that Devin White in his mind was sort of playing for the Bears, but playing for his future team and trying to protect his body as well. So if a guy like that, let's say, was getting you 5 to 7 sacks a season, if he dials it back because he doesn't want to get hurt and he's just sort of floating around because he knows he's going to be free agent, he wants to be ready, suddenly 7 or 8 sacks turns into 4 or 6. Well, that can be chalked up just to he wasn't energized, he wasn't feeling the team, he wasn't feeling what was going on. He probably had guys on the team on the defense that, that he felt like were crucial, or they got traded away. You see this happen all the time. The Bears are in the middle of a transition because of Caleb Williams, their new quarterback. The reason that has to do with the defense is because usually you start to dump contracts and you try to get younger and bring in pieces of need, but for cheaper. And so that's why some of these guys got let go. It's not because they can't play. It's just because it's cheaper. Some of them is because they think they're older, but most of the time it's just they want to get cheaper. Kim Calhoun, what's up, love? Welcome to the show. Wow, draft a tight end in the first 2 rounds for 3 years straight. No way. Yeah, I was saying the same thing. Hope so, but how is his injuries? Didn't he see anything about his pro day or even if he even had it? Well, I'm not sure you're talking about because I was talking about a lot of different players, but I don't want to trade back. Yeah, I don't either. Even if the Raiders brass want to trade back, doesn't mean there are any takers. We can't just say trade back if nobody wants the 6th pick to trade up for. Rare Devillion, that's a great pick, but that's a great point. But to be quite honest with you, there's almost always going to be someone that if you're offering that pick, someone's going to go get it. You got 32 teams. Someone's going to see someone on the board and say, what? No one wants the Raiders spot and they're offering it and you could get that guy? And someone will jump up. I can't say who it would be, but someone will jump up. Anthony Penn, you are so right with Devin White since he left the Bucs. Devin White is not a young man. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying he's a quality veteran and a pro. I think he'll be really good for us. Even if okay, you just said that. We have a third and 3 and 6th round. Oh, and 3 6th round picks. Okay. Yeah, that sounds right, Mark Burgers. I'm not a fan of Alex Kappa and Devin White signing. Mike Riff, I get that. I just think that sometimes we go on what we see guys doing before, and we don't take into account what they're going to do where they arrive. For example, I'm sure there had to have been a time in most everyone that's watching me's life where you had a job, you liked it there, things got sour, the manager left, you didn't like the new guy, you start to get bothersome with it, you figure you're not going to get new pay, and suddenly you look for a new job, you get it, and you're happier. And you work harder. And everyone there's nicer, and your benefits are better, and you have a 401k. See, to me, when that happens, you perform better. Because you're like, wow, I want to support this company that's supporting me. You know what I mean? Nothing like where I was. I'm happier here. I think that's what's going to happen with this Raider team because Pete Carroll, he fosters that. I would compare what Pete Carroll does to what the Golden State Warriors do to players when they join the team. Ask any player in the last 20 years that's been a Golden State Warrior, they all say it. Kevin Durant said it, and Jimmy Butler, the guy who just joined the Warriors this year, he said, and I quote, "The Warriors are the best organization I've ever been with." And he's been to 5 teams. And he stops as a veteran right now and says the Warriors are the best I've ever been on. Organization-wise, no one does it better. And it'd be one thing to say, oh, he's just saying that because he got there. No, it would be that if it was just him. But guy after guy after guy after guy says that for years now. We're fostering that with Pete Carroll. And people are going to want to come to play for the Raiders. Bear, Tashawn Reed reporting if Geno Smith doesn't get his extension, he will hold out. What is your trust level in AOC as our starter? Arnie Garza, my trust level is he's in his second season. He'll be going into his third season. He's already had a ton of turmoil in every season he's had thus far. Coaches coming in and out, new offenses coming in and out. They tell him to go out and start. He plays bad. They pull him out and bench him for good. There's a lot of trust as far as I'm concerned in AOC. I think he can do the job. I think the politics of contracts and things like that are going to get in his way. I don't think that he will ever be seen by the Raiders as a true, hey, we should give him a shot as the number one. Because no matter what he does, once Geno's ready to go, or if he gets his contract and he's suddenly ready to go, there isn't anyone that's going to think he has a chance to be better than Geno. But I do think he has a chance. I do. I'm all in on him. I'm all in on AOC, and if you guys are waiting for me to back off, you should stop waiting because it ain't going to happen. I like the kid, and if we let him go, I'm going to watch his career wherever he goes because I'm telling you, he's going to be nice. And the Hunter Renfrow thing's not going to happen. That's not going to happen, guys. It's a nice little story. He's coming back to an organization that he knows, but the organization no longer knows him. You got a new coaching staff. You got a new strength trainers, and coaching staff's been flipped over from bottom to the top. Excuse me. Oh, got dust, I think. But anyway, Tim Newport said, I agree with. Now, no matter what he's agreeing with, I'm just going to say, thank you, brother. That way I get a win. Just automatically get a win. Tim Newport, they are saying he's making some progress. Okay. Damn. We need a wide receiver one. I like Myers, but we need a true number one. I don't think there's any reason why we can't treat Myers Tanamoku like he's the number one. We just need to get a little bit more dynamic play out of some of our other guys at wide receiver. And if we don't, and I don't think we are, we need to reach out to other people. Now, when the Tyler Lockett news started, waving around and everybody was talking about whether or not Tyler Lockett could end up with the Raiders, I kind of thought that was a done deal. I mean, the moment the jargon came up, because you know how it is with the press, including myself, they get word from someone on the team or a little whisper is said by the coach about someone, and then suddenly, what they're telling you is it's going to happen. You might have to wait a month, but, we got to get the contracts this way or the other. And with veteran players, it always takes longer because they have more kids and more family, and then you have to get houses and move them. And so they oftentimes will wait to announce those things until they've done a lot of that stuff, settled in, and then they'll say, okay, come on, we'll have a press conference and say you're coming. Because I think Tyler Lockett's going to be a Raider. I don't think there's any doubt about it. I think it's just a matter of when. Ian Thomas has only played in Carolina. Tanamoku, yeah, he had a long career, though. He's pretty good. To me, the fact that they kept writing him contracts, kept bringing him back, is a good sign. We have a second, a third, a fourth, a fifth, 3 6s, and a 7. Nicely done, Mark Vargas. And I think we can do a lot with that. I really do. If you actually go and you do the math, I know you didn't put the number there, but if you go and you do the math as far as how far separated 2 is from 3, 3 is from 4, 4 is from 5, and it's right around 37 to 40 spots on every one of those picks. See, to me, that's pretty good. That means in each round, you're getting almost a first round pick of that round. Does that make sense? And they've been kind of quietly doing that for us the last few years, so I'd like to see that continue. Sup, Bear? Genty the pick? Yes. If not, what direction do you think that they'll take? If they don't go with Genty, I think they really will go with defensive line. I don't think that they'll go to a different running back or a wide receiver. I don't think that's going to happen. It would probably be one of the 3 guys I mentioned earlier in Mason Graham, James Pierce Jr., or potentially Shamar Stewart of A&M, maybe Mykel Williams of Georgia. Those are some big boys, and they're both, let's see, Shamar Stewart is 4th on the list, Mykel Williams is 5th, so they're pretty good, and picks that we could pick at 6 and, Not too many people are going to scoff at that. These are guys that are going to play. They have very low bust potential, so I'd like to see something like that if we don't get Genty there. Tanamoku, I like hidden gems like Nick Nash and Ricky White III. Ricky White III, yeah, I like him too. Chris Strong, so 10 months later, after I broke my ankle and 8 surgeries, I finally got a black cast today for the next 6 months that desperately needs a R8RBEAR logo on it. Right on, Chris Strong. I would love that. Sorry to interrupt R8RBEAR Live Talk to bring it up, but PM doesn't work, and I want to represent Bear family in Dallas, not just our Raiders. How do I get a new one, Bear? Raiders! Woo! Chris Strong giving me goosebumps. I'll see if I can send you something, Chris Strong. That shouldn't be a big deal. Much love, bro. I appreciate that. RD Garza, I got this one from Football Fanatics, Raiders Football Fanatics. If you go on Facebook or Instagram, you just put in Football Fanatics and then the word of the name of the team that you like, Raiders, Giants, whatever it is. And why did I pick the Giants? And it'll pop up a wall that gives you, mittens and jackets and hats and just everything, shoes, and so it's pretty cool. Seen a little about us going for Hill. Do you think that would work? I think he'd be a problem for the locker room. I don't think he would fight Galvan. Welcome to the show, brother. As always, haven't seen you all. But I would say to you that fight, Tyreek Hill will do that. But I think that's more of a shtick. You know what I mean? I think that's more a shtick than anything else. I'm not saying that he isn't like that. He acts like he's a rapper and he's so famous and he's always bragging and podcasting, but I think a lot of that is shtick. I really do. I really, really do. Because when you hear about him from teams, all you hear is good things. And it was the same thing with Odell Beckham Jr. Odell Beckham Jr., people would always say, oh, look at how flossy he is. He's going to be a distraction. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. And then all you ever hear players say, great guy, generous, funny, caring, warm, hugs me, when I come into the locker room, always has a smile on his face. Well, who are you going to believe? The press or the players? You know what I mean? I believe the players, even though I am the press. I was talking about Abdul Carter and if he had his pro day. I'm just not sure how his healing from injury is going. Tanamoku, I think just like Tyree Wilson, he's trying to play his cards close to the vest. Because if you mess around and you say anything that sounds suspicious, he's going to lose millions of dollars because he's going to fall down the board. And even if other teams like us may get lucky and we may get him, he can't be thinking about that right now. All he's thinking about right now is maximizing his financial potential, and you got to do that because you can only really do that once. Let's go, Dubs! Yeah, the town, baby. Donald Penn had a horrible year prior to coming to the Raiders, then went on to have a Pro Bowl year. Yeah, Raider Devilian, I feel like Alex Kappa could come here and really do some good things for us. I really do. Bear, what are your thoughts on Trey Tucker taking a step to stardom? I think it's possible, but we've also been waiting for it for 2 years. He has the speed. He has the route running skills now. Last year, he took a dramatic improvement turn for the better because in the offseason, he went to a wide receivers camp, and you could tell the difference. So Trey Tucker got that. So now Trey Tucker is one of the fastest guys on the field. He's got his route running much tighter now. He's running more routes, so his route tree has gotten bigger, which means he can be used for more plays. But he's not a big guy. Physically, he's on the smaller side. So he gets pushed around a little bit. He can get jammed at the offensive line. Now, all of that can be overcome, but on a lot of plays for him, because he's a smaller stature guy, he can't overcome that. So in effect, you're playing 10 against 11 sometimes when you have him out there, because when you go to look at him, he can't get loose. Because a DB can just jam his shoulders up a little bit and slow him down enough that he can't get into his route. So if he doesn't get that Amari Cooper-like shake and get him off of him right at the snap, he's not as effective. And that's what Trey Tucker, from what I have heard, is struggling with. And why he went to that wide receiver camp. He's got to improve his get-off. They want to use him. They want him to be the guy. But they also need him to show that he can get off and get off all the time. And from what I hear, what's happening in camp, he's not doing that. Bear, if draft a defensive end in the first round, what happens to the 7th pick in the first round, Tyree Wilson? Well, Tyree Wilson will get an opportunity, Arnie, to keep playing, to keep that position. But with Malcolm Kuntz signed there, Tyree Wilson really not ever really having an explosive game. I mean, we really haven't seen him have an explosive game. We saw a couple of games last year where he made a handful of plays, but we're so desperate now to see him do anything that we're willing to cheer if he just makes a tackle or two. He's got to be better than that. And if they bring in someone, they're going to get a legit shot at trying to take the job from him, and I think they will. I really do. It's nothing against Tyreek Hill. Tyree Wilson, excuse me. It's nothing against Tyree Wilson. It's just plain and simply, he's stiff. I don't like stiff players. I don't care what position it is. Wide receiver, running back, center, linebacker, quarterback, you name it. If you're stiff, you don't work in the NFL. You don't. It's a look at that kid, Cooper Kupp, with the Rams. Not the fastest guy, not the biggest guy, but he's right in between, has that kind of Steph Curry factor where he's stronger than he looks, a little faster than he looks, and a hell of a route runner. And so he had a year or two where he was the best wide receiver in football. And there is no way Cooper Kupp should be the best wide receiver in football. But he reached out and took it. That's just facts. You know, people want to make it about color because he's white and all these other receivers are black. Doesn't have anything to do with that. But he did do it. He shouldn't be denied because he's white, or act as though it's special that he did it because he was able to beat out black guys. Silly. It's silly. You know what I mean? What's with the running back then with the Niners? Christian McCaffrey. You know, what's our excuse there? You know what I mean? See, these white guys can play. I just think that for a great deal of time, the mindset up here was that they couldn't play with these other brothers. And so they kind of got away from the sport and went toward baseball and boxing and MMA and stuff like that. So. Oh, there it is. All right, that's my show. Much love. Shout out to our armed forces, Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, National Guard, Space Force. For all you do, the energy and love of this show is dedicated to your sacrifice. Active and veteran, much love. If you enjoy the entertainment and content of this show, please consider a subscription to R8RBEAR family page, both on Facebook and on YouTube. And on YouTube, it costs absolutely nada. But on Facebook, I'm on a mission, and I'm saving lives. I used to talk about it all the time on other shows, and I don't know, I felt like I was kind of bragging, so I cut it back down a little bit. But we've done a lot of stuff for a lot of people. I'm talking about COVID shots. I'm talking about portable showers for homeless people. I'm talking about food, warm food handed out myself, Mama Bear handing out socks and dry goods and canned goods and all that stuff. Because that's how we roll, you know what I mean? Alright, much love. I appreciate you all. Appreciate you tuning in. And I will see you tomorrow. R8RBEAR family page. What did I say? Peace. All day, every